Kristen.
And I'm Bethany.
And this is Looking for the Middle,
The Christian Girl's Guide to Modern Dating.
We are just two single girls trying to help you navigate dating well as Christian women.
And welcome back.
Welcome back. We're over halfway through season 3. Can you believe that?
Oh, that's really sad, actually.
I know.
This has been really fun.
I mean, Christmas will be here before you know it.
I know. I've got to start Christmas shopping.
Mm.
I've done a couple of things.
Oh, have you?
I have. None of them for you. Don't get your hopes up.
Okay, well, fine.
I don't know what I'm getting you yet.
I don't know what I'm getting you either. I've just figured out your birthday present today.
Well,
you and Melanie both have Christmas, or right at Christmas birthdays.
I know.
So, hope y'all are getting geared up for the holidays.
Yay.
Maybe you've already started your shopping like a good person.
I've started recording Christmas movies.
Ooh.
So there's that.
Y'all, it is Hallmark season.
I'm so excited.
Praise all that is holy. Good gracious.
I have it's a sweatshirt, but it's kind of like an ugly sweatshirt.
Uh-huh.
It's just got like this big like Clemson tiger face on it. And then the tiger has like a red nose and antlers. So it's kind of subtle, ugly Christmas.
Right.
So we were going to that bonfire the other night. And I wore it. And Lindsay was like, "It is not Christmas." And I was like, "There are Hallmark movies that are Christmas on the TV right now. I can wear this shirt."
Yes. That's amazing.
So, yeah,
I love Christmas.
Me too.
It'll be here in the blink of an eye, I feel like. But, okay, focus. We're already ADD, and we haven't even started. So before we jump into today's episode, just a quick reminder, if you are not already one of our loving, loyal, faithful Patreon supporters and partners, you should be one, because in, a week or two from now, we will be releasing our first video exclusive to our patrons. Y'all ever wonder what we're like talking, like where you can see us at the same time?
Motions.
Yeah, all the hand talking and the Z snapping and everything else that you can't see on a podcast.
Oh, man.
You'll be able to get on this video.
Yes.
And we're actually talking more about what we talked about in last week's episode, where we had the honest conversations about dating and singleness. There was a lot that we covered in that episode, but there was even more that we didn't get to. And so we're going to take those topics, like whether or not are you talking yourself into Hinge or out of Hinge, as we talked about. That was still kind of a debate up in the air. We're going to be covering that more on the video, among other things. So it's going to be a grand old time. So if you are not already partnering with us, you can go to our website, lookingforthemiddle.com, go to the resources tab at the top. It'll give you a plethora of options to partner with us, and I think, is it all but it's 3 of the 4 of them you have access to the video. So you have 3 different options if you want to see the video.
Yep.
And you get a bunch of other cool stuff too.
Yes.
So be sure and go check that out if you haven't already, and we will love you forever.
Okay. Are you ready for my question?
I am so
I'm excited
ready.
about this, and this one's fun.
Gosh. Okay. And you came prepared with it. You didn't even have to look at it beforehand.
Ready. Okay, so what is the funniest thing you did as a child that your parents or / family, whatever, still talk about today? Like that thing that still gets brought up.
So I have 2.
Okay.
The first one is when I was still an only child, the glorious first 2 years of my life. I don't remember this, but my mom would take, I think, sewing classes or cooking classes once a week, and my dad would be responsible for giving me a bath and putting me to bed, but that's when he would teach me things. So I learned my letters, my numbers, and then the third most important thing for a child to learn in the South are all the teams in the SEC. Okay?
That's so funny.
2 years old, could name every team in the SEC. My favorite, though, is I would say that the Vanderbilt Commodores, I would call them the knockin' doors. So that gets talked about a lot.
That's so cute.
And then the other thing that gets brought up is I was a really big Alan Jackson fan. So I had a little play guitar, and I would prance around the living room with them blaring Alan Jackson, and I would play guitar. And there's I don't remember what the name of the song is called, and this is very embarrassing for me to do this on air, just by the way, people. So this will be a look into the karaoke we're going to be doing in a few months. But
this is all your fault, people.
Yes, there's a part in the song where he goes, "Oh, it's the tall, tall trees. Oh, all you tall, tall trees and all the waters in the seas. I'm a fool, fool, fool." Well, I didn't know how to say fool, so I would sit there and play my guitar. I'd be like, "I'm a fool, fool, fool for you." At like age 4.
That is too funny.
And I mean, my aunts and uncles bring it up. My
about
grandparents. That was like my act as a kid to go around and do that. So that's just a look into my childhood, people. But yes,
hilarious.
That's what I would do as a child. What about you?
Well, mine is not anything related. But first, I never really thought about it being a Southern thing, but when I was like 2 or 3, I could name at least the starting 5, if not the whole roster of the Hawks.
Yes.
Like, that's what Dad taught me.
Yeah.
The starting 5 for the Hawks.
Our dads were really concerned about our mental development with sports here.
I never knew anyone else did the same thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, fun times. Okay. No, mine wasn't a funny memory in the time.
Okay.
It was not a funny thing I did, but it's
funny now.
It is like one of our longest running family jokes, I feel like. So when I was, we'll say 8,
Okay.
9, maybe somewhere in there. I may have been a little older. I don't know.
Mm.
I fell off my bike and broke my arm right about my elbow.
Okay.
Now, as soon as I fell off my bike, though, you know, Dad was like there. He's like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I was like, "Oh, my arm hurts." I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Well, can you move it?" And I said, "Yeah." And I was like, "But my arm feels heavy. Like, I couldn't, like, pick it up." And I was like, I don't know what else to say, but, like, my arm feels heavy.
Right.
And so my parents then proceeded to not take me to the doctor for, like, 2 days because I could move it. And I just kept saying, my arm just feels heavy. Like, I can't pick it. It just feels heavy. So now, like I said, it's not a funny thing at all. But to this day, anytime someone gets hurt in any way, the family question is, well, does it feel heavy?
Does it feel heavy? That's amazing.
So anyway, that was the first thing that came to mind.
Heavy. That's funny. Oh my gosh. I love that.
So yeah.
Y'all, if you would like to see embarrassing childhood photos of us on our Instagram,
I was just thinking about
let
that. I
us
was like,
know.
oh man, we should probably find some good ones.
we should.
Okay.
I like my pictures of me as a kid. There aren't many it was more middle school that I was like, oh,
Yeah, those
dear
aren't going
gracious,
anywhere on the
please.
internet.
And like late elementary. But like
Yeah.
little kid, I'm
You were
like,
good
okay.
with that?
I was okay with that.
I'll have to see what we can find.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, let's jump into today's episode.
Yes. So today we are talking about putting your best foot forward in life, and then more specifically, obviously, in the dating world, because that's what we talk about.
Mm-hmm.
So, kind of the whole premise or the overarching theme of that is, though, that getting ready for a first date starts way before you get asked out, even.
Mm-hmm.
So, how would you
Well, I think
say that?
the first thing that will come to mind when we say this is you're thinking, oh, you're talking about the way I look. And, well, we are going to talk about that. But this isn't a conversation just about looks. This is about sending a message to people that you take good care of yourself and that you devote time to being a good steward of your body and what you've been given. You know, we talk about the importance of stewarding our finances and our time and all of these other things. And I feel like we forget that we're also a steward of the body that we have been given. And so we're going to talk about how that affects your dating life.
Yeah. And to talk about it specifically within dating, and I know it's controversial to say this, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Bethany doesn't shy away from controversy.
We as girls spend a lot of time expecting guys to relate to us a certain way, or how we want to be related to, or on our level, or ways that we understand, or fill in the blank with whatever little phrase you want to put in there. But as soon as someone dares to mention that they want to look nice to impress a guy, or so a guy will notice them, or for a guy, people freak out and men are horrible and all they care about is the way women look and blah, 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 blah. Which I feel like is a little bit unfair, let's say. I just don't think there's anything wrong with realizing that guys are visual creatures and wanting to look nice because of that. I'm not saying you have to fit some mold. I'm saying be the best you that you can be. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And I do think this can be controversial. And just so you listeners out there in podcast world know, like, we were very intentional about how we framed this episode, how we outlined it and prepared for it, because we wanted to make sure we were clear, because this can be very easily misinterpreted if you just kind of speak off the cuff. So
yes,
we've really thought through this. But I completely agree. It's not really fair for us to expect that of guys, but then for us not to be able to go the other way, because
there's a whole lot of take in that and not very much give.
Exactly. And we're not saying, you know, that this is about dressing immodestly to get attention, or about exploiting what struggles you may know that a guy has. We're saying the exact opposite. It's basically just putting effort into looking nice and knowing that guys will notice.
That's okay.
And looking nice can be not just your physical appearance, but your demeanor and the way you carry yourself, and we'll talk about all that. But this is the whole, like, you presenting yourself to someone else. And I've thought about, my dad always tells me, Kristen, you do what you can do, and then you let God do what only he can do. Mm-hmm. And I think sometimes we think, oh, I don't need to do anything, and I can just sit back and not take care of myself and not go out to meet people and not do anything, and God's just gonna,
he'll bring the right person.
Have the stork drop the dude on my front porch or whatever, the tooth fairy or whoever you think. And that's not how it works. You put yourself out there. You take good care of yourself. You present yourself in an approachable, attractive way that is catered to you.
Right.
And then you leave the rest up to God. That's all the rest is out of your control. But what is in your control, you can be a good steward of that.
Sure, and you do those things knowing that God is in control of all of it. Mm-hmm. But you're doing things that you should do. Like, that you're being obedient, not trying to make things happen, if that makes sense.
Yes.
And I want to just kind of say, I know a lot of times in Christian circles, character is promoted, and character is seen as the most important, and it is. Mm-hmm. But it's promoted to the extent that it says that we should just gloss over attraction and looking good and wanting to be attracted to the person you're with and anything physical. And that's just not reality.
No.
And so then it's almost like people are afraid, especially girls, to do anything that might get a guy's attention based on how they look. Mm-hmm. And I think you have to be careful there, because like we're saying, we're not saying wear whatever you want and get a guy's attention. Mm-hmm. But there's nothing wrong with wanting to look nice.
No.
So that a guy, or guys in general, will take note. That is okay.
Yes, it's completely okay. And this can be a tricky thing to navigate, and that's why we wanted to do this episode, because we wanted to kind of flesh it out and give you guys some tips, advice, tricks, to-dos, not to-dos, or to not do's, however you're supposed to say that. Don't do's.
Don't do's. Do's and don'ts.
Do's and don'ts.
That's, I think, the typical way that's referred to.
Okay, and the blonde is seeping into my brain. People.
Before we get into, though, I want to say one other thing. This is not something that we're saying only applies, like, if you're going somewhere or you're going to be somewhere where that guy you're crushing on, he's going to be. It's not just that. We're just talking about how you live your life. And if you're putting your best foot forward and making a good impression and being approachable and all these things we've said, your odds of having someone just approach you out of the blue go up dramatically if you put some effort into looking approachable. Mm-hmm. If you don't care about yourself and you don't present yourself well, that comes across to other people. And I'll just say, confidence is a very attractive thing to guys.
Yes.
So be confident. And if you're not, watch what confident people do, and do those things. Mm-hmm. And pretty soon, I think you will see that start to wear off on yourself.
And the last thing I'll say in this epically long intro that we are famous for, don't hear us say, oh, do all these things and you will get a boyfriend.
Nope.
Or do all these things and your crush will ask you out.
Wouldn't that be nice, though?
Oh my gosh. If someone has that formula, please DM me.
Yeah, I got someone I could use email. That on.
Well, okay. Bethany getting bold up in here, but
it doesn't happen often.
No, it doesn't. So it's to be celebrated when it does. But seriously, don't go into this thing, oh, if I just check all these boxes and do all these things, then I'm going to get a guy. Do your chances improve? Most likely.
Absolutely.
I would say so. Mm-hmm. But it's not a guarantee. There are still things out of your control. God is still sovereign. You could start moving in a better direction tomorrow than maybe you have been, and you may meet the dude tomorrow before you've even done anything to change. Or you may meet him further down the road when you have changed your outlook or said, oh, I want to start doing this, or I want to do this. But don't think, this is my ticket to getting a man.
No, it kind of goes back to our episode from a few weeks ago about, are you ready to meet your husband? Mm-hmm. And one of the questions we talked about in that was, what does your life look like when you do? Who do you want to be? What do you want your life to be like? Some of these things factor into that, like that person you want to be.
Exactly. Okay, what is the first thing we suggest people do to put their best foot forward?
First thing I would say, and like we said, it's not all about the physical, but we're going to start with that.
Yeah.
So, dress for your body type, which everyone has heard. Everybody knows, like, oh, dress for your body type. But I've heard that and I'm like, okay, well, you Google it and it's like, well, there's these 4 body types, and I look at or whatever, and I'm like, well, I don't really look like any of them, so I don't
I'm like
know.
the top half of this one and the bottom half of that one.
Exactly, though. That's exactly how it is. And I look, I don't know what to do. I'm like, then what? Mm-hmm. So I know it can be confusing and tough.
Yeah, and I think as women, when we have something we're insecure about, we tend to dress in an attempt to hide it.
Yep.
But I would say, instead of thinking about, I need to hide, my stomach or my thighs or whatever, think, okay, what do I want to accentuate?
Mm-hmm.
And think about it in a positive way. So figure out, what about yourself, what are your favorite features about yourself? What do you like best about the way you look? Mm-hmm. And highlight that. Don't think, I've got to wear black all the time and everything has to be super,
boxy,
flowy and boxy, and nothing's ever gonna, show. Think, okay, well, I don't love my legs, but I have a great collarbone and awesome, arms. So I'm gonna show that off, and that changes everything.
Mm-hmm. And I will say this, if you don't know what those things are, ask someone. Or if you can't
free. You're welcome. I'm sorry.
Captain Obvious.
I'm sorry. I'm being snarky.
No,
keep going.
No, but or if you don't have someone to ask, or whatever, that thing is what you get complimented on the most. Whatever you get complimented on regularly, that's the thing that you should probably be accentuating.
Yeah, and there may be people out there, which I've been guilty of this, saying, well, there's nothing I like about my body. Which
we've all said
sure. That. We've all been there. But there are other things that you may love your hair, or you may have really pretty eyes, or fill in the blank. So
it could be a color.
Yeah, like when for some reason royal blue. Every time I wear royal blue, I get, Kristen, this looks great with your, because I have blonde hair, so looks great with your hair, looks great with your eyes. This looks good on you with your blah blah blah. So your girl has started buying more royal blue. Yeah, and it doesn't have anything to do with what kind of shirt or dress or whatever it is. It's just, hey, I get complimented on this a lot.
Yeah, so notice what those things are.
Exactly. So I'm going to go buy more of that.
Right, yes. If you get complimented on, I've got several things that every time I wear it, a couple people will say something. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, take note of that.
Yeah.
And be like, either wear that thing more often,
yes.
or buy more clothes like that. Whether it be a certain pair of jeans, whether it be a certain shirt, whatever it is.
Yeah. Pay attention to what's being commented on.
Yeah.
And run with it.
Right. Okay, one other tip that hopefully is better than the last tip I tried to give. Buy a full-length mirror. And it doesn't have to be some big expensive thing. Go to Walmart, get one of those cheap little put on the back of your door mirrors. Mm-hmm. But it's very valuable, I think, to be able to stand there and look at an entire outfit put together. Not just hoping things match, and then you go out in public and see yourself in a full-length mirror and go, oh. Because that'll kill your confidence faster than anything.
That's so true.
So it sounds dumb. It does sound really obvious again. Know what you look like before you leave the house. I am just killing it with the advice today.
You really are. No, but I completely agree. I love a good full-length mirror. We have one in our hallway right before we leave our apartment.
There
so
you go.
Lauren and I we can check right before we leave. Be like, all right, we good? But it is, because otherwise you're having to stand on a chair in your bathroom trying to figure out what you look like.
Yeah, or my bathroom's so small, it wouldn't even help if I did that,
that's
honestly.
So true.
I could stand on a chair and my head would probably be out of the mirror and my knees might be showing. Which half the battle is making sure your shoes look right with your jeans.
Exactly.
Making sure they're cuffed right, or making sure they're the right height, or your shoe, whatever. That's a big issue.
Yeah, so a full-length mirror is a cheap but valuable asset to you.
And confidence booster.
Yeah. And
you angle it a little.
Yes. You must angle it. I mean, you don't have to. That's your call. But I love a good angled mirror.
Yes.
I'm like, this is good. I like this.
Because I'm always like, maybe that's how other people see me.
Right. And then I pass a mirror somewhere else and I'm like, this is not how I looked in my mirror this morning. Yes. But it's a nice little... Did you know, fun fact.
Yes.
The green room at my church, where the pastor and whoever, there's at one of the campuses, there's a mirror right before you walk out. And it is designed to make you look a little thinner to pump your confidence right before you walk out.
Oh, it's probably the same ones they put in the Old Navy fitting rooms. I was just there a couple weeks ago and I got home and I was like, this looked way cuter on me. on their mirrors. I'm just saying.
I would rather them do that, though, than have, like, Kohl's has terrible fitting rooms. I always look bigger in Kohl's than I do anywhere else. Which you think stores would want to, like, have magic mirrors in there, making me think I look good and everything. So
exactly.
Anyways, okay.
We're getting distracted.
Yes. Circling back here. Another point I would like to make. Just because you are not a size 2, not hating on my size 2 people, if you're a size 2, fantastic. That's awesome. If you're not, though, that doesn't mean you can't dress cute.
No.
And I think there's this misconception of, oh, if I'm not small or if I don't look like all the people on Pinterest, then I can't wear that. And that is not the case. You can find clothes that are cute, that fit you, that are flattering, and you can look amazing. And coming from 2 people who are not size 2, we have figured out how to dress for what looks good on us.
Yeah.
And it's not like, oh, well, I don't look like her, so I guess I just can't.
Yeah, and I think a key to that is don't get consumed with every fad that goes by. Mm-hmm. You can jump on board with the fads that, like we're saying, fit with your style and fit with your body type. But you can't jump on board with every single one.
No.
So find your style, which is, I don't know, I think that just takes time.
I think so,
At least for
too.
me it did.
Yeah.
Because I would say within the last probably 3 to 5 years, I've really hit my stride with my style. Mm-hmm. But stay within that.
Yeah.
Work within those parameters, I think. Because
And
you'll feel better, you'll feel more confident.
Yeah.
You're more comfortable in what you like.
Yeah, and look, we get it. It can be so easy to get bogged down in comparison and thinking, I'll never look like that, or I don't look like her, or I'm not that size, or I'm not that height, or I'm not that whatever, hair color, eye color, body type, I don't care. There's always something you could compare yourself to. And our hope in having this conversation is not to say, well, you know, you may never look like this, but you could still be cute. It's, no. Instead of focusing on how you're not like somebody else, be proud of how you are and who you are and how you were created and accentuate that.
Yeah, and like we were saying before, we're not saying the answer to putting your best foot forward is to fitting in this little mold. Mm-mm. The answer to putting your best foot forward is not looking like everything society may tell you should look like. The answer to putting your best foot forward is being the best you that you can be confidently.
Yeah.
Don't fall into that comparison trap.
Yeah. And this is something I know I'm really tempted whenever I am thinking, oh, I am not as small as I would like to be. I start wearing like all oversized clothing. Mm-hmm.
Real flowy.
Really flowy. And sometimes my sweet mother, we have a very interesting relationship when it comes to clothes. I hated this growing up. Now I'm very grateful. I will tell her, you have full reign to tell me if something's not flattering. Yeah. Be nice about it, but you can tell me. And so she'll be like, Kristen, sometimes flowy isn't helping as much as you think it is. And it almost makes it worse.
Yep. And I wore a shirt the other day, and then there was a picture of me in it. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, that is not helpful. Yeah. Like, it just makes, Yeah,
and so don't think you've got to dress to just, like I said earlier, cover everything. You can wear figure-flattering clothes that fit you, and I'm not saying they have to be skin tight. I'm not saying that you gotta wear spandex.
No, but in fact, probably a good idea not to.
Yeah, unless they're leggings, then we highly recommend those.
Well, and I mean that for anyone.
Oh yeah,
just in general.
Oh yeah,
no one should wear that.
No. But don't think that, oh, just because I'm this way, I have to dress this way.
Yeah. Well, and buy clothes that fit you. I know one thing that when you're not the size you want to be, you kind of hang on as long as possible to the smallest, pair of jeans that you can, and you convince yourself they fit a lot longer than they maybe actually do. Mm-hmm. So buy clothes that fit. Don't be as worried about the number on the tag. If there's something you don't like about yourself, or there's something you want to change, make sure you're doing it from a good place, one. But then go to the gym, change your diet, do what you need to do. But in the meantime, it's okay to buy clothes that fit. You're the only person that knows what's on that tag. Absolutely. Nobody else does. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you now, a bigger size that flatters and fits you well will be much better for you than a smaller size that isn't as flattering.
Well, and just more comfortable, too.
Totally.
I think about when my tighter pants, when I sit down, I'm like, oh, God, this is annoying. And then my pants that fit me well, I enjoy wearing them.
Right.
And then I feel better about myself when I wear them. And as we're talking about all of this, you know, if we think about this in a dating context, we've talked about this on here before. When you're getting ready for a first date or you're picking your outfit, wear something that you are comfortable in and that you feel good in, because that is going to affect the way you carry yourself, how confident you are going into this. So,
and let's just be real, sizes are a joke.
oh,
I literally last
my
week,
word.
I was just sitting here thinking about it. I think I wore pants that were 4 different sizes last week.
Yeah.
So
There are YouTube videos about that
Yeah.
where girls will go by, like, I watched one, she bought, I think, 10 different, or tried on 10 different pair of size 12 jeans.
yeah.
From all these different places. And there were some that were massive. There were some she couldn't even get her legs into.
Yep.
And so you could be, I mean, I could be a size 2 in one place.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a stretch. I could probably be like a size 8 in one place
Yeah.
and like a size 16 somewhere
Yeah.
else. So, yeah, numbers
So
are
don't
messed
worry
up.
about those numbers.
That's such
Yeah,
a good
that
point.
was something that gave me a lot of stress in my younger years. And so I want to tell people,
Yes.
don't worry about
Don't
it.
worry about it. That's such
yeah.
a good point. No one sees that tag but you.
Yep.
Okay.
And you can cut it out if you want to.
That's so true. I cut out most of my tags. They drive me crazy.
Oh, man.
Okay, moving on. We talked
Yes.
about dressing for your body type. Let's talk about personal care, so like skincare, hair care, all that jazz. And in the same vein of what we were talking about with dressing for your body type, when it comes to skincare and makeup and all of that, accentuate the features that you get complimented on.
Yeah.
So, for instance, Bethany has beautiful blue eyes with mega long eyelashes. So what does she do? She wears mascara everywhere to accentuate that. And therefore she continues to keep getting complimented on those things.
Yep.
So figure out, okay, what about my face do I like? Is it my eyes? Is it my smile? Is it my skin? Is it my...
Well, Kristen is really good at doing hair. She always has, like, different hairstyles. I can't do my hair to save my life. So, and we'll talk about that in a minute with hair,
Yes.
my lack of skills. But, yeah, do what you're good at. Mm-hmm. And if there's something you want to be good at it, research it. You know, YouTube is your best friend if you're bad at makeup, like I am. I don't know what I'm doing on my own. I just do what people on YouTube tell me to do. And within that, don't just search makeup tutorials. Search eye makeup for brunettes. Search everyday contour for a round face. Like, those are the kinds of things that when I go look, that's what I search for, because I'm brunette. I have a rounder face. It's a long, it's a rounder, longer face. If the person who's doing that video doesn't look like you, it's not going to help.
Yeah.
So find someone who looks like you and watch their videos.
Yeah, if you have like blonde hair, pale skin, and blue eyes, don't watch a girl with dark skin, brown hair, and brown eyes and think her method may work.
Right.
But the coloring and the products and all of that are going to look completely different on you than they will on her. So try to find, that's the beauty of YouTube, there are
Yes.
a bajillion people that do makeup tutorials. So find, like I have 2 or 3 people that have blonde hair and fair-ish, I'm not super fair, but I have lighter skin.
Right.
Have my same hair type, like they have the straight hair, and I watch all their stuff. And then I can sort of mimic what they do.
Right.
And it makes it easier. So,
And then even with that, tailor it to you.
yeah.
Do your thing.
Yeah, exactly. One caveat or caution I would like to offer.
Maybe it'll be better than my advice.
Yeah. All my ladies out there. Wearing more makeup isn't always the answer.
Yep.
And I think, particularly when it comes to our skin, we think, okay, if I just put on more, then it's going to make it look better. Not always the
Yeah.
case. Sometimes less is more. So don't be tempted to just pile it on in hopes of covering everything up.
Or, I'll just use a personal example here. I was going to say, if there's something you're not great at, trying to just do it more is probably just going to make the problem worse. For instance, I like my eyes. I have big eyes, and I'm very expressive. My facial expressions, those of you who sign up and get our videos later, you'll
notice.
see that firsthand. And so my eyes are like very much a focal point already. And so I'm not the greatest at doing eye makeup. And so it ended up just, my eyes just looked garish. Like, it was just too much. And so I kept trying and I kept trying and I kept trying and I couldn't figure it out. And so my answer to, I quit wearing eye makeup. I don't wear eyeshadow. I don't wear eyeliner. I do my mascara in such a way that when I'm applying it, it hits my lash line. And so then it looks like a smudged type eyeliner in and of itself.
Oh, that's smart.
So I just learned I'm not great at doing eye makeup, and no matter what I try, my eyes are just, they become overpowering. Like it's just too, it's distracting.
Yeah.
You don't want these features you're accentuating to ever be distracting. There's a difference in accentuated and just over the top.
Yes.
So, like I said, I just don't wear eye makeup. Or if I do, it's a big event. And I get someone else to do it for me. I think the last time I wore eye makeup was Melanie's wedding.
Really? Mm-hmm. You should let me do your eye makeup for Wicked.
Okay.
For your birthday.
Okay.
Oh, that'd be so fun.
Okay. I don't turn it down.
Yes. Okay, yeah, let's do that.
Yes.
We're just making plans on the air.
There
it's
we
fine.
go. It's fine.
It's fine.
And then if we're going to circle it back to dating or impressing boys.
Which is always so fun to try to
Right.
figure out how to do.
Most guys, I shouldn't say most, more than
You
a
would
few.
expect, yeah.
Most guys that I've talked to, that I've dated, they will say things like, oh no, I much prefer a girl who just doesn't wear makeup, like on a day-to-day basis.
Mm-hmm.
And that was puzzling to me. I was just like,
Same.
that makes no sense.
No. Like, because
But
obviously I
through-
look better with it.
But
Let's be
through
honest.
discussion of like different pictures of different, like looking at different things in guy speak, what I've come to realize that means is that they prefer a natural look. Kind of talking to your point of like more makeup is not the answer, is that they prefer a natural look to where they can't really tell you're wearing makeup. Not actually no makeup. They just don't know the difference.
That's a great
Does
point.
that make sense? Like
Yes.
they don't know what all goes on your face. And
That's true.
it's not that they don't like any makeup. It's more of a natural look that
That's
they
a
prefer.
Great point. Well, the no makeup look, as I
Exactly.
like to call
Exactly.
it. Yeah. So that's a great avenue to take if you're figuring out what to do, where to start, starting over, wanting to revamp your makeup routine. That's a great direction to go. And then with hair care, I think, like Bethany said, I love doing hair. I have been doing more updos recently because I'm getting lazy. But I know messy buns are totally in. We're both wearing them right now. Benefit of being a podcaster, no one cares what your hair looks like.
Exactly.
But it can be tempting as a girl to just throw your hair up all the time because it's convenient. And I'm not saying you can't ever throw your hair up. Please do, because it's wonderful. But wear your hair down from time to time. There's something about when you wear your hair down. I don't know, I've never seen a girl look bad with her hair down. Is that mean to say that?
No.
Okay.
Why does that mean?
I don't know, because that means it seems like I've seen girls look bad with their hair up.
No, I don't think they're connected. I think it's fine. Yeah.
I didn't mean it like that.
No,
but
I know.
I just think it's a good thing to do from time to time. And have a haircut that flatters your face.
Yes, if you're going to wear it down, it needs to, be flattering.
Yes, they have websites now where you can put hairstyles on
Literally
your picture,
on your face.
so you can figure out what looks good. Or if you have someone who does your hair professionally, ask them, hey, they're trained to know what'll look good with your face shape and everything like that. If you know how to do your hair more than one way, that's also fun. I like to figure out how many different ways I can do my hair.
I'm horrible at this. I'm working on it. This is
You
one thing that
are.
I'm like,
You
I need to
are.
work on. Because I literally have like 2 hairstyles. One is called up, and the other one is called down. Like, that's it. So I've been working on, like, now I've got my messy bun, but I've got, the front part of my hair's braided.
Yes.
Pulled back into the bun.
Branching out.
Been working on curling my hair
Yes.
more.
See, you're getting there.
I'm working on it. And going back to what you were talking about with the YouTube videos for like makeup, talking about hair, finding someone who has your hair type is very important, because my hair is super thick and frizzy. So I straighten it. My hair's not naturally straight. I straighten it. But if I'm watching a tutorial of how to curl hair from someone whose hair's naturally straight and doesn't ever frizz, mine's not going to handle the heat the same way. The tools won't flow through it the same way, and you'll just get frustrated. So that's another place where that comes in, I think. And then, again, just being straight up here, if you're trying to impress a guy, doing something to break out of your mold, your pattern, your typical will catch his eye.
Yes.
So if you always wear your hair up, wear it down. If you always wear a certain kind of clothing, wear something different. Just throwing that out
Mix
there.
it up a little
if you
bit.
want to impress him, do something with your hair out of character. Lipstick, whatever it is, keep him on his toes a little.
Yeah. And then that tees him up to compliment you.
Very good point. True.
Because he can be like, oh, I really like your hair like that.
That is true.
And then you know to wear it all the time like
I
that.
say, if a guy tells me that, that's never going to look any other way.
I'd be like, I'll curl my hair every time I see you.
I know. To get up at 5:30 every morning.
Oh, gosh. That's real love right there. Getting up at 5:30 to do your hair for a guy.
No joke.
I've done it.
I was going to say, it's never happened. Hasn't happened yet.
Oh, my gosh. So the last thing we're going to talk about in regards to putting your best foot forward is just your mentality, how you present yourself, which I honestly think this is the most important thing of all the things we've just talked about.
Agree.
Because you can be dressed a certain way or have your hair done a certain way or wear your makeup a certain way and then not present yourself in a confident or approachable or nice, kind, fill in the blank way, and then you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot a little bit.
So yeah, let's hone in on two of those things. Let's talk about being approachable and then being confident. Because I think those two things, because guys are very attracted to confidence. And guys are very attracted to women who they don't already feel rejected by before they even walk up.
That's a great way to
So
put
those
it.
are two that I want to really talk about. So let's talk about being approachable first. This is, like you said, you could wear a burlap sack and be approachable. Mm-hmm. This is eye contact. This is smiling. This is just being pleasant, looking up. And I will say this too. If you want to be approached, put your phone down. And I think I've said this on an episode before. When I go to Starbucks, unless I really need to work, I don't put headphones in. Because, Prince Charming may walk in the door and I've got my headphones in and miss him. I'm being
really quick.
facetious
Can
here a
we
little
talk
bit,
about
but
Bethany being the one referring to Prince Charming and not me? That has never happened.
Well, I'm not going to talk about Dansby.
I know.
You'd get a little possessive.
I'm just saying, we've already talked about before how Prince Charming doesn't exist, and yet here you are using his name in an anecdote.
Kristen.
I just need to point out.
Fine, you're right.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So, be approachable.
Yes.
And y'all know, we don't mean be over the top and creepy, but give the impression to any guy you come across that you want to approach you, that he wouldn't be immediately shut down if he did. You are approachable.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And honestly, I think the best way to do this is just to smile.
Yeah.
I think we underestimate the power of a just nice, kind smile. So I was watching this YouTube video earlier today of this girl's morning routine, because that's been my YouTube binge content recently. And she was saying that the first time she looks in a mirror every morning, she smiles at herself. And she makes a point to do that, which I just loved. And she's like, it's a simple thing, but it puts me in a good mood. Instead of me criticizing myself and what I see in the mirror and being like, oh, good gracious, look at me.
Yeah.
It's like a sweet smile.
Yeah. I always smile when I look in the mirror. I never really thought about it.
Oh, see, I don't. Walking down the mirror aisle at Hobby Lobby with Bethany's real fun.
Oh,
She's just like,
that's not like
looking
that.
back and forth.
Like, hello.
The princess
Thank you.
wave.
No.
Thank you for being here today. Princess Diaries.
Oh,
Does anybody know what I'm
we need to
talking
watch
about?
that movie.
Yes.
I promise I'm not that conceited.
No.
That's not what I mean. I'm just saying.
I know. I'm just giving
I
you a
do
hard
smile
time.
when I look in a mirror. Yeah. But, okay, so with this, use it wisely. Be careful. You girls know what I'm talking about. There is a line between, especially in the South.
Yes.
There is a line between normal, friendly, socially acceptable, smiling, making eye contact when you're out and about, and then being inviting. Mm-hmm. You know where that line... So, we're talking just a small smile, acknowledging the person's there, approachable, not big toothy grin, hey, come talk to me. Mm-hmm. I guess it was last weekend. I was in Chick-fil-A, and I was standing there, we were waiting on food, and I had turned from getting straws or something, and there was an employee there, and it kind of took me off guard.
Oh, gosh.
She's right there. And I was like, oh, hi! Because it caught me, and I smiled because it just really caught me off guard. And he was like, hey, what are you up to? And I was just like, oh, that's what you took from that.
Yeah.
And it was super awkward. Thankfully, I was there with a guy who was still kind of standing at the counter. So he turned around about that time. I don't know if he even ever picked up on
that was happening.
But he kind of came back to where I was. And I was like, oh, we're just getting our food. And so then I turned to the guy I was with, and I was like, okay, are we ready to go? And it ended okay. But if I had just turned and not said anything, or just kind of small smile, whatever, he would have continued on. But because I was like, oh, super inviting, someone that I didn't want to approach me was. So
Yes.
balance that.
Yeah.
We don't need y'all coming back and be like, I've been smiling at every person I meet and all these people are talking to me and I don't know. That's not what we mean. So
then, in addition to that, let's talk about confidence.
So I think confidence is equal parts how you feel about yourself and how you portray yourself. You can come across as way more confident than you actually feel.
Mm-hmm.
And the more you do that, the more you will feel it. Because when you portray confidence, you get the results that confidence would get, and then you feel more confident because you're seeing those results. So whether that's walking confidently, whether it's saying something you wouldn't normally say, whether it's speaking up when you normally wouldn't, do those things. Walk confidently. Look up. Smile, like we talked about, carefully. Make eye contact with people. Because that says, I am confident.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know that I've ever, I'm 32 years old, almost 33. I've been talking to boys a long time. I don't know that I've ever talked to a guy who said, yeah, I'm just not really into confidence.
Yeah, no, never.
All guys like a girl who is confident.
Mm-hmm. And as we say all the time, that doesn't mean you have to be loud.
No.
Doesn't mean you have to be, the most boisterous, biggest personality person in the room. It just means that you carry yourself and you interact with others in a way that shows you're comfortable with who you are, you like who you are, you're comfortable with the other people, and it's not, I think we overthink it and think, oh, I have to strut in there and strike a pose and do this and say this and make sure everybody sees me. It's like, no, you can. People tell me all the time, Christian, you're really confident. I'm not. I don't have this, walk in a room and I'm the center of attention kind of a personality.
So to sum this up, and the last thing I want to say is just kind of taking it back to the beginning, what we were talking about in this episode, and just reminding you, all of this that we're talking about with putting your best foot forward and accentuating your best features and all of these other things, be confident, smile, all this, we are not trying to give you a mold, like we've said, that you should fit in. We're not trying to give you a checklist of things that you must do and then you'll get a boy. A plus B equals C. That is not what we're saying. What we're trying to say is, and I think we said at the beginning, be the best you that you can. Don't let what other people say is quote unquote normal or whatever the latest fad for making him crazy about you is. I tell you, I log onto Pinterest and every time I'm scrolling, it's like, oh, do this and he'll be crazy about you, or do this and he'll never forget you. Like, and it's all of these things of like acting like someone you're not. Mm-hmm. Don't fall into that trap. It's not about changing who you are. We're not saying you should change your style, you should change your hair, or you should change your interests to impress a guy, to get a guy. If you are wanting to change those things, do it. That's fine. We're just saying take some time, put your best foot forward within whatever of those things is already true about you. Do that. That's what we're trying to say here. That's what we've, I think, come to a place of doing for ourselves. I think in high school, you want to be the popular girl and you try and you change and you do and all this stuff.
Yeah.
But as you get older, you realize, one, it's exhausting to do that. Mm-hmm. And two, you're putting on a show.
Yeah.
Be you, be who God created you to be. Glorify him with the talents and the gifts and the interests and everything else that he gave you. And use those to the best of your ability.
Yeah. And be grateful for those things.
Yeah.
I think we have a tendency to want to criticize ourselves way more than we want to be grateful for the way we are. And I know it's going to sound super cliche when I say this, but if you aren't happy with yourself and you don't, I know love yourself is like the very cliche thing to say, but like if you don't feel that way about yourself, how are you ever going to accept that from somebody else? Like, I've struggled with that in past relationships where I don't think something about myself and a guy will, but I have a really hard time believing him because I don't believe that to be true about myself because it's an insecurity or I'm not confident about that part of who I am. Mm-hmm. And he's sitting there trying to encourage me and to build me up and to love me in that way. And I can't even accept it because I haven't even gotten there with myself yet. So I think it's important that you, like Bethany said, just be the best you and go from there.
Yeah.
So
we'll leave you with that.
Yes. So thanks for joining us for this super fun, kind of long, and really I already said fun episode where I clearly can't speak like a normal person.
It's okay. We still love you.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate it. Okay, we'll be back on Friday with another couch cast per usual. So until then, I'm Kristen.
And I'm Bethany.
And this is Looking for the Middle.